Hey everybody, once bitten here with a battle report. So it's been a while since I've done one of these. It's kind of been fun planning for this one. So this game's against a guy named, well, on the Ninth Age forums, he goes by Vespasian, or however you pronounce that. He lives all the way across the country. He contacted me saying that he was going to be in town over a weekend, and would I like to set up a game? And I said absolutely. So this is pretty cool. I know when I travel, I like doing stuff like that. So he brought his Highborn Elves, I brought out my Beast Herds. We rolled up a diagonal deployment with the secondary objective being scoring units within 6 inches of the center of the board. Now, of course, the army list can be found in the description, but there's Fast Cav in the far right corner. He knows that I have some ambushing units, and so he's definitely putting a lot of thought into making sure I can't pop up behind his lines. So he's got his general on a dragon. There's a bolt thrower on that hill. 28 lions, and in there he's got his battle standard bearer. There's some Queen's Guard on that hill, some more Fast Cav behind him, another bolt thrower. And then a unit of 10 Lancers. And then the dragon model is actually a Flame Phoenix. And then he's got a third unit of Fast Cav. So he deployed first, so in response to him, he wasn't going to give me an easy flank shot with my Impaler wielding Centaur Chieftain. I was kind of wanting that, but if I did that, I knew that I would just get shot. So I'm hiding behind this building. I've got a couple Gortachs, a unit of 6 Minotaurs with a Minotaur Warlord General and a Minotaur Chieftain Battle Standard Bearer. Behind him is Gargoyles. Then a couple Razortusks, and then a bunker unit of 20 Wildhorns with my Mage. That's a Wizard Master, 3 spells with Druidism. And I'm ambushing a unit of 20 and 2 units of 10. The unit of 20 has full command, I think. They all have throw-in weapons. So, I think after Vanguard and stuff, the table looks like that. You know, we talked about this after the game. My impression up front was I loved that he was covering his back line like that, because I felt that it was taking part of his army away from where the action was. He pointed out, though, that if he doesn't do that, then I really can step in and wreak havoc with my ambushing Wildhorns. So I don't know what the right answer is there. So we got a Highborn Elves turn 1. Really just kind of condenses his stuff together. He brings his general on the dragon up right next to his lions. A smart move I think he did, if you look at the top, kind of towards the right, he took his Flame Phoenix and just has it facing towards the side. So if I bring on ambushers over there, he can fly over them and do damage, quite a bit of damage. He can charge them, and he's really not out of position. He's still close enough to the action that he can turn and get where he needs to be if he needs his help later. So we go to Beast Herds turn 1. Yeah, so I'm looking at this. I'm like, his lions really scare me when I think about my Gortach. So I want to keep my Gortach away from him. I'd love to get the Gortach in with his Lancers, and his Lancers are kind of boxed in a little bit. He could march out of my line of sight with those Lancers, but he couldn't do it without getting charged by my Centaur Chieftain, who comes in at, 4 attack strength 7, or if I want, even strength 8. And then easily hold them up until I can just turn a Gortach around to get him. So I'm pretty comfortable with the left flank up there. The right flank, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm really scared with my Minotaurs against his lions. And in hindsight, I shouldn't have been, I don't think. But I was thinking, we get in combat, I kill a bunch of him, he kills a bunch of me, and then he swings first, kills a bunch of me, and then we very quickly just die. After the game, we rolled that out, and I was very, very much mistaken. My Minotaurs absolutely crushed that line unit. But I am worried about his general on the dragon, because my bunker unit is really not that strong. I don't, if he comes and threatens them, then I really don't know what I'm going to do. And let's see, I think my Gortach failed his frenzy test, rerollable. I think it's 9 rerollable, failed it. So it didn't really hurt too much. We've got a Highborn Elves turn 2. So he decides just to back his Lancers up to make it kind of a long charge with my Gortach. And he takes his Fast Cav and sweeps around my line. So I can't, if you look on the left-hand side, so I can't charge his Fast Cav with anything. I'm not really worried about it, except they're just nice and safe back there, and he can bring them around and redirect. And he does have, 3 units of fast cav, and which are really going to, I know they're really going to cause me problems with my ability to countercharge or anything. And let's see, the middle of the board looks like that. He really, again, he kind of consolidated his Lions Guard. I think he saw his Lions and was worried about my Minotaur. So we're both worried about each other. So it's kind of like, neither one of us really knows what to do there. We're trying to avoid that combat. If I were him, I probably would have taken that general on the dragon and swept him around my flank. I probably would even taken a charge by my bunker unit. Because if I charge him and sacrifice a champion, I win combat by 1. He almost certainly sticks, and then he just munches through that unit and is kind of behind my lines. But I tend to be aggressive that way. All right, so we go to Beast Turret's turn 2. Instead of trying to charge with my Gortach and failing, I just take the Gortach up and just put him right in front of his Lancer. So in my mind, there's nothing he can do. He can charge my Gortach or nothing. Now, it's possible his Lancers could charge my Minotaurs. I wasn't that careful about it. I don't know if they could or not, but I wasn't really that worried about it, to be honest. I got my 20-man unit and my 10-man unit of Wildhorns ambushing. I decided not to go on the right-hand side because he had that set up very well with that Flame Phoenix, so they come on the left. One is parked right behind my Gortach, and the other one is going up to shoot at his fast cav. And I couldn't really get a good shot with my Centaur Chieftain. I could have shot the Lancers. He had a toughness buff on him, and so I thought it'd be better just to use him to put a bolt thrower down the flank of those fast cav and hopefully just kill them all. Yeah, so you can see there's one fast cav missing already. I shot at them turn 1. And there's that. I think this might have been the turn that Gortach failed his frenzy test, because he's kind of out of position too. And then after shooting, yeah, just kind of an epic fail with everything. I shot with the Wildhorns first. I don't know if they killed anything, and then the Centaur Chieftain only killed 2. So that's a bummer, because if these guys had failed their panic, that'd have been great. But having passed their panic, they're just as good now as they were with 5. So we go to Highborn Elves turn 3. And so his Lancers just go ahead and charge the Gortach. It's kind of like there's nothing really else he can do. He takes his fast cav and moves him right in front of my Minotaur bus. So the fear there is if I charge them and I have to overrun, if I run far enough, his Lions are my flank, and that's game over. And even if I don't, he can still charge the Lions and his general and the dragon in there, and that's a combat that I don't want. So there's that. I'm a little bit nervous about this, but really he shouldn't do too much to this guy. In the shooting phase, he kills. Let's see. I lost my Razortusk number 1 on turn 2. Razortusk number 2 died on turn 3, and my Gargoyles failed their panic test. That was huge. I keep those guys right behind my line so they can fly 20 and redirect stuff. And had they been available, I actually could have taken my Minotaurs and charged that chaff, cleared him out, redirected his Lion Guard, and would have had some options there. Very frustrating. Here, he comes in, only does 2 wounds to me. I only do 1 wound back, which is just, I felt was crazy. 7 attacks, rerolling to hit, strength 6. Yeah, so he wins. I'm stubborn on a 9 and stick. And then I forgot to take pictures on my turn. But basically, I made what in hindsight was a mistake. I charged the other Gortach in to that combat because I thought between the 2 Gortachs, well, I knew I would win and break him. I thought I would break him, and he would run off the board, and it would get me out of line of sight. What didn't occur to me is those 2 Gortachs might just kill the whole damn unit. And that's exactly what they did. So they just wiped the unit, and then the guy who charged in had to overrun, which just sucks because now the Lion Guard can charge him. And another mistake I made is I should have angled the other Gortach. It didn't have to overrun because it didn't charge in. Because what this allows him to do is charge my second Gortach with his Flame Phoenix, and then overrun with his Lions past the first Gortach once they waste him, and fight again on the second guy. And had I angled him a little bit, he wouldn't have been able to do that. So, Yeah, in hindsight, there was no need for that second Gortach to go in there. My first Gortach was going to be just fine against those Strength 3 elves. And if he stayed there, several turns, it wouldn't have mattered. All right, we go to Highborn Elves, turn 4. So, yeah, things turned really, really positively for the Highborn Elves here, because he's going to charge the Lion Guard or the Lions into a Gortach. He's got the perfect overrun to the second Gortach. He just needs to roll a 6. And he's just going to remove both Gortach just like that. He still has my Minotaur bust chaffed up, and I just can't afford. After he kills both Gortach, he can just pivot those guys, and I can't afford to charge that chaff. So my Minotaur bust is just sitting there. Now, one thing I was thinking at this point too was I'm like, I've got 2 scoring units that are very easily going to be at the middle of the board by the time this game is over, and unless he can get his lions up there, he doesn't have any scoring units. So I'm starting to think now, is like, if we can just keep this a draw, I can win the objective, and it'd be like a 13-7, which I'm thinking might be just a nice, safe way to try to secure a victory here. Yeah, so there's that. Again, he takes his dragon back to support his troops. Yeah, I don't know. I would have been a lot more aggressive with that guy. I was really worried he was going to fly him up and threaten my bunker. And remember, that bunker is not just a bunker with a bunch of points. It's also a secondary objective. So after combats, yeah, he kills both Gortach. His Flame Phoenix overruns and ties up my Wildhorn unit. And then he reforms the lions. And yeah, that wasn't good. So we go to Beastlord's turn 4. So the Gargoyles are now available to redirect, so that's nice. So I take my minnows and just charges his chaff, just to get out of the way. Centaur Chieftain was able to charge right across the face of the lions and then hit his bolt thrower, which is nice. And then, yeah, those guys are going to die. And after combat, it looks like this. Now, my opponent's turn, he does something very clever. By the way, if you look at the top left, his Flame Phoenix charges in my unit sticks, which I thought was nice. But he charges his dragon into those Gargoyles first, hoping that I would fail my terror test, which I thought, ooh, that's clever, because if I do fail that, lions in the flank of my Minotaurs, and that's game over. But they passed it, so Highborn Elves turn 5 looks like this. Yeah, his dragon's going to clean up the Gargoyles. His Flame Phoenix should take care of my Wildhorns this turn. And afterwards, yeah, so he brings up another chaff. He has all these fast cav units with just like 1 or 2 guys left, just cause me all kinds of grief. So here, his general charged the Gargoyles, and instead of overrunning, he just kind of pivoted them, which really worked to my advantage because he's totally blocking his Lion Guard. So I just have to make sure that my Minotaurs and nothing else in my army can be seen and therefore charged by his general, and then his lions can't charge. So I don't charge that dude, I just sit there. I do take the Centaur Chieftain. Let's say I charged in on my turn. It took me 2 rounds of combat to kill the Bolt Thrower. Then I pivoted, and then I charged this Flame Phoenix. And one thing I forgot about is I have a 2-up board save versus Flaming on this guy, and I think the Flame Phoenix's attacks are all Flaming, and I forgot about that. But I'm really hoping just to get a bunch of wounds here, coming in at strength 8, and even then I'm not going to kill him, but I'm hoping I can just break him from combat. But it doesn't work. I fail a couple of them. We go to last turn of the game. Really not a whole lot else for my opponent to do. He's trying to shoot my stuff, just get some points where he can, especially that small unit of Wildhorns, which, I don't know if you saw this or not, but my spellcaster was with the big unit in the forest. The small unit, I moved my spellcaster over to be with them so that he'd be within 12 inches of the Centaur Chieftain. So he shoots the crap out of them, but there's still my spellcaster and 1 guy left. And after combat, it looks like that. Yeah, so we're both healing wounds and buffing that combat there with the Flame Phoenix and Centaur Chieftain. And for the most part, there's just not... everybody's out of position to do much. So Beastard's turn 6. So I take my 1 remaining Wildhorn and I just walk him up to his fast cav. I'm going to throw 2 weapons at him, try to kill him. otherwise, yeah, I'm just sticking still with my Minotaur buzz. They didn't kill anything all game, but they just sat there posing threats and looking pretty. So during the magic phase, I was trying to throw. I threw a regrowth spell on this unit. Not because I really needed it. I just wanted to heal a wound to my Centaur Chieftain, and so it's kind of a throwaway spell. So we let that one go through. So I regrew 5 guys, and then with all that, I was able to shoot and kill his fast scav. So not a big point difference, but poetic justice as far as I'm concerned. And the Centaur Chieftain, the Flame Phoenix, end up just pillow fighting it, and the game ends there. So, yeah, that was interesting. I can't believe how much I overestimated this Lion Guard, because after this we literally took his lions and my Minotaurs, and we said, okay, let's fight it out, and my guys absolutely crushed them. So knowing that, I might have been more aggressive. Based on points killed and stuff, my opponent had a 12-8, and then because I won the secondary objective, ended up being 11-9, I think. So, yeah, that's it. Fun game. Hope you enjoyed it.